Alright. Yeah. Tryna get in the groove now. When you listen, say stargazing, looking in the sky, asking God why.
Check it.
Why should we try when everybody dies?
Unauthorized love letter life.
Everybody dies.
Check it. Lost romance, feeling like a slow dance from prom to a year. Nowadays, no hold hands. Been a few months since we spoken, hoping that everything is going well in your life. Despite the fact the year has been unforgiving, I hope it makes us all appreciate the living. At least a little more. Keep my thoughts pure like uncut cocaine smuggled from Ecuador. Very little change. Yeah, we wanted more. Seen a lot of things remain the same since the age of 4. Consume this Andy Gordo helps a little bit. Taper down the stress, living in this hell pit. Like Zeus looking down from the skies. Thunder clap in the streets, next comes an alibi. Your jaw drops from these lines that I draw. My gym so bright, it'll get you through the fog. Yeah, I just stargazing, looking in the sky. Asking God why? Why should I try when everybody dies? But I realize that love, yeah, it keeps me alive. Yeah, it keeps me alive from stargazing, looking in the sky. Asking God why? Why should I try when everybody dies? But I realize that love, yeah, it keeps
All right,
me alive.
peace, y'all. Welcome back to the Piper Carter Podcast. You are live in the studio on YouTube with your host, Piper Carter, and my co-host, Brittany and Deja, and our special guest, Asa Bey, author. Right? Yeah, Brittany, who is that we were just listening to?
We were listening to this is Deja's artist of the week, Deshawn. Deja, you want to tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, so this is my homeboy up out of Columbus, Ohio. I've known him for a few years through Twitter. And pretty much like ever since I've known him, I think he's been a rapper, but he's always been talented. He's always been real cool, real humble, good head on his shoulders. He's just a good like internet homie.
Okay.
And he actually just made one of his songs an NFT too. So since we're always talking about NFTs and crypto and technology, I just thought it would be cool to highlight someone that's out here doing that. And
Say his name again.
Deshawn.
How do you spell that?
DOMDESHAWN on I think all social media platforms, and he's also on Spotify, all the like DSPs. So yeah, go find him and go find his NFT too. Go support him.
Where would you is his NFT? What is his platform? Is his NFT on?
Let me go back to it. I'm still learning about all of this. It's still crazy to know that there are different platforms for them all.
Yeah, because like there's at least a couple hundred.
Yeah, it looks like it's on mintsongs.com.
Say that again.
Mint Songs. So
M-I-N-T.
Mm-hmm.
Is that 2 words or 1?
1 word. The website is mintsongs.com.
Okay. And so just for people who are like, I want to do an NFT, like how do I do it? Like how would they go about, getting it?
You do have to purchase it with ETH. So like that's a digital currency.
ETH.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure. I'm sorry. So
that's
yeah,
okay.
We just have to you would just have to use your funds to buy the digital currency, and then from there you can purchase his song on the NFT.
Okay, that's what's up. All right, awesome. Thank you, Deja.
Thank you guys.
That's great music. I like the beat.
Yeah, right. That sample is so nostalgic. Had to put him on for a minute.
Who do you know who made that beat?
I don't actually.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah, let me find out real quick so we can shout them out as well.
Okay. And then so how's your week been, Brittany?
My week was good. The weekend was interesting, doing the family thing with the Christmas holiday, however you perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. Got to see my dad's side of the family, my mom.
How are they doing?
They're doing good. They're doing really good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was chill. Happy Kwanzaa, everybody.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Of course.
Yeah, today's the 3rd day of Kwanzaa.
I know. This is just a perfect gift. We have Asa here in the studio.
Yeah.
For the 2nd day of Kwanzaa, right?
For the 3rd day.
Excuse me, the 3rd day.
Yes, it's Ujima.
Correct.
Or Ujima, however you want to pronounce it. And that is collective work and responsibility. So I'm gonna kick it to you. How do you see this ASA collective work and responsibility? How would you build on that?
I think that that's the requirement for us getting our stuff together as human beings during this time. You know, it's time to step outside of that fragmented mental space into, you know, unifying with like minds. They don't have to be the same skin color, you know, for people who are just, you know, pro whatever their group is, but you know, us just working collectively to achieve different goals and shift the paradigm.
I like that.
I love it.
That's what's up.
How was your weekend, Pipe?
What did I do this weekend? Oh, you know what? I was working on my business plan for We Found Hip Hop. And I know I've been in business forever, but I have these different business plans I've been doing. So my photography business plan, I was working on that during this class the last couple months. That one is like, I want to say like 85% done, even though I've been a photographer for like 30 years. And the music business with the women in hip hop, even though I've been in business, I am just now working on the business plan. And so it's about, I'm gonna say it's about 50% done. I feel pretty good about it. But I'm not sure if I told y'all I got accepted. You know, I've been doing all these classes and courses. So I got accepted into this program. Oh, first, I'm not sure if I told y'all. I told y'all I finished my certificate with the Clive Davis School of Music Business.
Yeah.
And I finished with the Afrofuture Tech Summit. That was like about 2.5, 3 months. And it's different technical training. So you get people from Microsoft, LinkedIn, Facebook, just different platforms, you know, Apple, and they teach you like different technologies. And so I completed that. And then I got accepted into this next program, which is called Profit Lab. And what they do, they teach financial literacy. So I'm in the Operation Hope um, small business development program. And now I'm going to be in this like smaller program that teaches you like business finance and this kind of thing. So I'll be able to add that into the business plan. So I've been doing business, like hustling, if that makes sense, since I was 8 years old. Like I say, with my first lemonade stand. But I'm at this point learning how to build a business and build wealth and to build a business that'll live beyond me working for the business. And so that is something that I had not had skills around. Like I have skills about working hard and doing work and getting paid to do, you know, for like transactional. I do work and I get paid. But this is actually helping me build, think of how to create a structure so that the business is making money without me working. Although I love working, but again, I will be 50 next month. So I have to think about building wealth and wealth that lives beyond me and wealth for, you know, future generations. So anyway, long story short, that's what I've been doing, is preparing
Investing
for
in
that.
yourself.
Yeah,
Right?
lots of self-investment.
So,
Learn.
I love it, Pipe.
What about you, Deja?
Deja? Yes.
My week has been pretty great. I've been off since Thursday, so I slept up until today's Tuesday, like Sunday, pretty much.
Shouts out to sleep.
Oh yeah, I slept through Christmas. It was terrible. But my aunt took a nap with me, so
Oh, that's sweet.
I was really cool. Yeah, love sleeping with her. She's like my best friend.
Aww.
She's my godmom. Yeah.
I have honestly gotten out of like the traumatizing stress of like Christmas shopping and like being like in the moment of like Christmas. But I still really enjoy like the family like aspect of it. Like, right. It's still, that part is still like dear and true to my heart. Like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like me being under my nephew, like family. It's just something different about it. And I still respect that spirit of, you know, Christmas. So.
Oh, we talking about the Christmas stuff. Okay, yeah, I did spend time with my aunt and uncle and my cousin. We had dinner. They made me a wonderful. They made dinner for everyone, but they made me like a little special meal.
Mhm.
Enjoyed time with them, cracking jokes and having fun. And my cousin's boyfriend's family didn't treat us, but rented a movie theater for us to go see The Matrix.
That's cool.
And I had seen The Matrix on HBO Max like a couple days before.
Yeah.
Fell asleep on it
Yeah, you told me you didn't like it.
Yeah,
It
I was gonna
sucked.
say, oh.
What?
terribly. And then went to see it at the movie theater.
And loved it.
Fell asleep again.
What theater were you guys at?
The one in Royal Oak.
Imagine.
Yeah. And
so you were too comfortable.
Oh, yeah,
I was laying up,
That's
my
why
feet
I
in that
asked.
chair. But
Yeah.
Beat you guys out of all
but I
our
watched it
Matrix-
again today.
Okay.
But guess how I had to watch it?
What?
On the elliptical and the stairmaster to stay awake.
So you really are
Man.
stamping on the fact that you didn't like it.
It was a
But you're
lot.
a fan of the Matrix, though, right? You guys.
I
all
love
are,
the
right?
Matrix franchise.
Okay.
I think it's amazing.
Asa,
It's
you.
one of my favorites.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm a super fan.
This
yeah.
one, The Resurrections.
I liked it.
Wow, everyone
See,
loves
I
it.
have to
Yeah.
go now. I have to go see it. I actually did go see it. That's so funny. I went and saw it, and I
Mhm.
fell asleep too. But I was
See?
tired. That
She-
was
she-
it. I was just tired.
Okay.
No, I will fall
Mm.
asleep on any movie, even if I love it. But I'm really excited to see. Like I'm gonna watch it online probably.
I
I do
had to-
think
but-
this
okay,
one
go
you
ahead.
gotta put your cosmic goggles on, to like really
Mm.
appreciate
It's a
it.
lot.
Because it's a little different. Yeah.
And I had to watch
Mhm.
those explained on YouTube videos. I did. I watched like 5 or 6 of them.
But that's cool though.
And I would say something, but it's still new. So I'm not going to say the ones I was watching because they're spoilers.
Mm.
So I'm not going to give the spoilers. But next week I will. Because y'all all should have seen The Matrix by next week. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe
Next
not
week.
by this week, but at least by next week. Anybody that was going to see it for real and be upset about a spoiler, I won't spoil it for you. But I will say see it. It's very different than the other franchises, and I appreciate what they were trying to do. I just have a lot of things like I'm a production person, and for me, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. The cast for me was more of a television cast. I don't think that cast was a A-list film type cast. And so for me, like the acting was kind of like TV acting, and that was hard for me. But if I take my production thing off and just look at it like maybe for the points that they were trying to make, maybe I might enjoy it a little better.
Mhm.
But it was difficult for me to watch with the TV acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was like anyway, I'm gonna give spoilers away, so let me stop. But anyway, yeah, so I feel like we should just get into the book. Or
Yeah,
did we
I'm
hit-
ready.
Oh,
Well,
wait. We gotta pour a little out for Bishop Tutu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if people know Bishop Tutu, who I will acknowledge was a controversial figure because on the continent of Africa, South Africans did give him the side eye. But I will say, for me personally, once a person passes, I think it's important to just allow the appreciation of their spirit and what they did here on earth. And he was a humanitarian, an activist. He fought vehemently against apartheid. He was one of the strongest activists against apartheid in South Africa. He was a world peace leader. And he also, I will say, a lot of people are very afraid, world leaders are very afraid to speak up against the atrocities that the state of Israel does against Palestinians. He was a very vocal adversary against what the state of Israel has been doing to our Palestinian brothers and sisters. And you know as well as I know, that's very dangerous to speak out against Israel. right? Especially the way that he spoke out and globally. So gotta give him a lot of love for that. And I could go on and on about his humanitarianism, but I will say when I was like 8 years old, the African Center School that I went to, Nataki Taliba, took us to see Bishop Tutu speak. And we got to see him as children. And that was really amazing. Like our parents came, like, the community came, and he was speaking here in Detroit. He came to Detroit, and we got a chance to hear him speak about peace and what we should be doing as a people. So that's a moment I'll have burned in my memory forever, just going there and seeing him, this African world leader speaking against apartheid. And this had to be like 1978, and we didn't see the end of apartheid until like early 90s. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, just want to pour a little out
Appreciate that.
for Bishop Tutu. Ashe, we appreciate you. Thank
Ashe.
you.
Ashe.
Thank you for your contributions.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if anybody's had any other.
No, I'll let you have that.
Yeah. Any other current events?
No, I really want to get into Asa,
Mhm.
and I'm super thrilled and excited for Asa to be here. I think it's perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you intro him, but yeah, I think we should get right into it.
Yeah, so I will say that I'm going to allow you to tell your story, but I will say that Asa is a wonderful, incredible speaker. He understands how to translate scientific information into layman's terms so that everyone can have a plain understanding of food science, nutrition, what's going on in your body, in your brain, atmospherically. I saw Asa, so I've been seeing Asa in the community for a while, but I went to a gathering a few years ago, and Asa was a presenter and presented on like the physiology of the brain, and did a wonderful talk. I think it was about an hour about the correlation or the science of your brain and brain health and what that has to do with your physical health, and not just your mental, emotional, parts, but also your spiritual parts, but then on a molecular level. And you started to break all of that down. And my master teacher, shouts out to Dr. Jewel Pookrum, that was her method, was teaching on a molecular level, on a cellular level, your understanding your body and your responsibility for understanding your body. And so when I heard you speaking, it sounded a lot like Dr. Jewel, but you're so young. And I was like, yes, Dr. Jewel's teachings are living on. And I was just very excited that you were excited about teaching melanated people in the hood, how to, care for ourselves and how to take responsibility for our health. But anyway, that is as much as I'll say, because I want you to tell your own story. So thank you for that. Oh, and your mom is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And your mom is a really well-respected community member as well. So shouts out to your mom.
Yes.
Portia, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, shouts out to you,
Yeah.
Portia. Okay. So that's it. Go ahead.
This is like my what story?
So
or
tell
something?
us first of all, Asa, hold up the book. Asa wrote a book. Yeah, hold up your book. Okay, it's called Make the Hood Healthy Again. We've all read the book, and we're all very excited about your book. And this is your first book, right?
Right.
Okay, and
Congratulations.
and you have a
Thank you, thank you.
co-author, Rafa Wright, and yeah, you're bringing us this incredible information, and we wanted to bring you on. Well, Brittany's idea. was to bring you on. I got to give her the credit.
Well, it's important because we talk a lot about community, like on the show, right? We talk a lot about community in the aspect of creating our own ecosystem. And so I told Piper we went to middle school together, and we got reconnected through me attending your Solar Power Sundays and you just being community driven, right? You run into people, you're smiling, you're asking them what they're eating, how they're feeling, letting them know it matches. Very, like Piper said, like on a simplistic level, right? You don't come at people, you're not judgmental, and you're yourself, right? So I got reintroduced to you. I knew you was Asa, right? And you always say whatever you want to call me, right? You're very humble, right? I got reintroduced to you as a healer, right? And Solar Power Sunday became a ritual for a lot of people in our ecosystem, right? It was something that people looked forward to. You went, you networked, you socialized. It was almost like, church in a way, right? So you socialize, there's vending, there's good vegan food, right? You see the same smiles. Everyone has their notebook, has their cell phone out, and you open up your platform for other people in the ecosystem that are healing and that are herbalists, that are into spirituality and metaphysics, right? But you create a platform for yourself and for others where you are, to Piper's point, simplifying the things that will make the hood healthy again. And then I think this October, right, you released the book, right? So, like, again, we're excited for you to be here. We want to talk about your path, right? I'm sorry, like I said, knew you in middle school, had no idea that I would be reintroduced to you through the community, right? So I want you to talk about just your path, right? And why you do the things you do and lead us up into your great book. So the floor is yours.
All right, so we're actually going to be relaunching Solar Power Sundays.
Okay.
In Capricorn, we already started. So towards the end of it, be on the lookout for that.
Cool.
But
And for those who don't know what that is, that's late January or early,
right.
Well, early January.
Right, up until like the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like B said, Miss Britt said, back in middle school, I actually attended a Christian middle school and elementary school. So that right there was like the universe, I guess, showing me and us what the world is like, and not necessarily how to become something different or whatever, but basically how to learn the audience and the crowd that we're going to need to touch, and pull out of a particular paradigm. A lot of people I see getting into the quote unquote conscious community, they like to bash religion and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, we got to keep in mind, like, the ancestors used to use that for like the children or whatever. Like, so everybody, we have to respect their place, in their growth and development. But fast forward from that, about 16 years old at Renaissance High School, one of my classmates, he was off to the side, studying,
Oh, hold on 1 second. For
Uh-huh.
because we have audience from like all over the world.
Oh,
So Renaissance High School in Detroit, Michigan is a magnet school where it's a public school funded by the state, but you have to take an academic test to get into the school. And there's another school called Cass Tech where a lot of people say like, oh, Cass Tech is like the highest school, but actually Renaissance is like actually higher, is like the highest of that type of school here. So that's where this smarty pants was going to school.
hey, and I like that intro. That was cool. But yeah, because you got so many famous people like Big Sean or something, they gonna hype up Cass and stuff. But that's like a little, Detroit competition. This is just a funny thing amongst us. But at the school, I was about in 10th grade, I want to say, and you know how it is in the lunchroom. Everybody's all socializing, everybody having fun. And one of my classmates, who was a very intelligent guy, real cool, down to earth, he was off to the side just studying. And I used to bug him like, bro, what you doing over there, man? Why you ain't, vibing with us? He was like, man, it's not really, it's not for everybody. But come to find out, he was studying his supreme wisdom lessons. He was a 5%er from the Nation of Gods and Earths. And back then he was like, if you want to tap in, you gotta, do a 3-day fast or something like that. I'm giving you like the backdrop.
In high school.
Yeah, I'm just giving you like the background story to where we getting off. But anyways, did my fast, started studying, and lo and behold, up until this day, I would say that that particular group had one of the most profound influences on my growth and development. Because had I not taken that particular journey or route, I would have ended up, somewhere else. So shout out to some of the beautiful souls who really put a stamp on my subconscious mind. Dr. Bahu, Laura Zaid, just some marvelous brothers, man, because it got real ratchet at times, because some of the brothers are wolves and lions. Like, who's this little light-skinned, dude trying to, be amongst us or whatever. But they, they had my back, steered me in the right direction. But anyways, I say that to say that right there was a very pivotal point when it came to basically differentiating a religious mindset as opposed to having a thorough knowledge of self. Because I would see people like parroting information off, but I was blessed to be around brothers who actually instilled in me the idea to like know soundly and really have a concrete understanding.
Well,
of
let's just, you have to explain that now, because
what part?
see so with the Nation of Gods and Earths, the culture is for the knowledge to be something that you actually possess yourself. So it's not to just read and like spew things off. It's for you to actually have a conscious thought about what that means today, what that means in your life, like what that means in the society. And so culturally, what they do is test you. Whereas, in many of the other practices, there are tests and things like that, but it's a bit different as like, because Nation, Gods, and Earth, like culturally is like every time I see you, every day, I'm going to ask you. I mean, and that's just how they do. And I only know that because I was studying around the same age, like 14, 15, was studying here, Nation, Gods, and Earths. I mean, it's a hip hop thing. If you're deep into hip hop, like you probably was studying Nation, Gods, and Earths. And they're gonna, at one point I had knowledge 120. So it's like, you're gonna be asked, if they see you, and if they come to you and they ask you and you're like, but it's like, oh wow, okay. And if you give them more kinder folks that's supporting you, it'll be like, okay, you need to go study, or they might build with you, or they might recognize if you're like a little frazzled because they just rolled up on you, they might give you a little chance. But some people might not be as I'm gonna use the word kind.
They might just cut you off.
Do they test you without you're being tested?
Yes.
Of course.
It's like so I just want to like put because I don't think that people who don't have that culture get that part of it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the only reason I want to put that in the ethers, because I don't think people really in the Wu-Tang movie. I think RZA got tested a lot. And I was trying to think where else I've seen it. I haven't really seen people explain it too much, but I just want to put that there because for a person, I don't think that people understand the rigidity with which you have to study to be ready, boom, to like basically not just give the math of the day, like not just know what the math is, but to do a build on it and what it means.
I love that. Of course.
In your life, like right now, how is it relevant? Anyway, I wanted to put that there because that could get
deep.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could get lost without breaking it down. So anyway, but go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, that was perfect and right on time. But I also wanted to differentiate between the 5% within the 5%, because that's the thing too. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, 5, it's a breakdown in every single thing. Like the police department. You might have some people that sincerely want to help and be, superheroes or something like that. And then you have some people who just bozos and taking advantage of folks. Like I'm watching the Godfather of Harlem, and one of the police officers raped Bumpy Johnson's daughter, right? After he, got her behind the scenes or whatever. And that's like how some people get down, but it's like that in every facet of life. You have some type of breakdown or whatever.
Oh, one sec. Just want to shout out Who is that? Aisha, and who is that? Modu.
Yes.
Yeah, just want to shout y'all out for listening. Thanks for listening. Yeah,
Peace,
so
y'all.
yeah, so keep going with your origin story.
Matrix.
So,
Let's go.
I would say that was like the profound seed that was planted in my mind to get me acclimated to how I think now. But
Like keep you sharp.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I also have just my planetary placements, catapulted me in that particular direction as well. Mercury is in Leo in my 10th house, so that's like pretty profound. Just that Mercury, for those of you who are not familiar with astrology, governs your mentality or mentation or the way that you think and communicate, et cetera, mental forces in general. But fast forward from that Nation of Gods and Earth's influence and background around 21, that's when I was first introduced to Dr. Keefa Lorraine Weatherspoon.
Okay, wait. Give exactly, wait, let's pour one out for Dr. Kifa.
Yeah, her birthday coming up too, December 31st.
Oh wow.
If y'all want
Yeah.
to celebrate her,
Dr. Kifa Ashe. We love you. We appreciate you and thank you.
indeed.
So let's just take a little pivot. Let's dig into
Yeah.
Dr. Kifa.
So for those of you who are not familiar with Dr. Keefa, if you're in the Detroit area, you should be familiar or may have heard of the water station on Woodward in between 6 and 7 miles. She's the founder of that, as well as the Sankofa Life Wellness and Learning Center, which was just right next door.
You have to let people know what happens at the water station.
Okay. And for those of you who are out of towners, this is actually the first alkaline water store. So basically you could go in and purchase gallons of water, 5 gallons, 3 gallons, etc. Come back, get refills, all types of herbs and produce and different things of that nature are in the store. She promotes local entrepreneurs, real heavy when it comes to Black empowerment. But the most fascinating thing, I gotta rewind one more time. So prior to that, I was working at the city council, right? I thought I was doing it. I was like 20, making some cake, but I was also familiar with health a tad bit, and I noticed like my office don't got no windows in it and all types of stuff. And those of you who are familiar with politics, you know what's up. I'm not bashing anything, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We would do all of these projects that were like clean up neighborhood or do these temporary things that really didn't get to the root of the problem, and it didn't resonate with my soul or whatever. So I cut that loose, and literally like 4 or 5 days later, Dr. Keefa, I walk into the water station. I might have took a step or two. She walks like floated through the air like Prince or something like that. How would you like to work with me? And I wanted to, but at the same time, I had this like tingly spiritual feeling, like hovering inside of my body, like right around the liver area, right on the right side of inside the rib cage. For those of you who are not familiar, and it wasn't verbal, but it was some type of intuitive. You know what to do.
Push, yeah.
And it was a wrap, So she turned into my mentor. I turned into her protege. After she saw what my mind was like, I started co-hosting with her on her radio show and TV shows, and it was just like, Batman or Robin or Superman and whatever, with the little I was her sidekick or something, But she had a super magnificent influence on me as well. So I studied the naturopathic arts from her, and she's actually the one that introduced me to Dr. Jewel Pookrum.
Okay.
I heard the name, but when she told me she was from Detroit and this and that, it was like, oh, it's a wrap. I had to go get all the texts, all the books, and I still love her and follow her to this day.
Yes.
But shout out to Dr. Keefa Lorraine Weatherspoon. She basically was one of the spearheads when it came to the metaphysical movement here in Detroit. And yeah, she's just honorable, praiseworthy ancestor at this point.
Yeah. And shouts out to Dr. Jewel as well.
Yeah.
That's one of my master teachers.
Indeed.
Just phenomenal. And I recognize a lot of Dr. Jewel in your book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we could get into that.
That's the spiritual big homie for sure.
And so then so you're, interning or, learning or apprenticing with Dr. Keefa Ashe. And at what point do you say, oh, I could take clients myself.
She actually did that.
Mm.
She used to do all these different events and stuff, where we were like, Dr. Afua used to come, to like the fairs and different things. So she would have all these guest speakers. And that was my first time like speaking publicly. She was, had all these big timers up there, Dr. Jesse Brown. No, Asa, you get up here too. And like would just throw me on the stage.
Beautiful.
And basically she didn't really like the one-on-one thing. She liked talking to like big groups of people, thousands, hundreds of people, or whatever, but she didn't like the consultation aspect. So what did
There's
she
a lot
do?
of energy for her.
I don't know what it was, but she was like, look, I know you like the water station, but we gonna go over to the wellness center like 2 times out the week, and you're gonna have to do like 10 clients a day.
Tell people about the wellness center.
So yeah, that was profound. It started off with her doing the consultations, but she had a bookstore over there. People who had like different high frequency type services, like they would have yoga practitioners, crystal bowls, Zumba was like probably the most secular thing, if you want to call it that. But everything was like on a real high frequency, and she would do different classes, nutrition 101. She would have different mystery schools come in and teach, or she would have different speakers like Dr. Afua or Queen Afua, I'm sorry, or different profound just Black leaders or whatever, from different areas all across the world, international speakers. But that was a real pivotal time of my life, about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, shouts out to Queen Afua too. That's one of my other master teachers. She there's so many wonderful people out here spreading the knowledge. But so then at what point do you become, Asa Bey, like the, I don't want to say healer, because you don't identify as a healer, or do you, or how do you identify?
So say
I wanted you to say what you said before we got on air about the healing aspect of things.
Perfect.
Okay.
So Asa, which is what my mother pronunciated the letters, because it's still ASA.
Yeah.
My mother named me Asa Lockett, right? Asa means doctor or physician.
Okay.
So that was one of the reasons why I took that direction. Come to find out, it's on my birth chart.
There you
It's on
go.
my natal chart energy. It's just alignment on all levels. But around the time when, so Dr. Kifa introduced me to a particular mystery school called Tsukio Mahikari,
Okay.
which basically means universal light, true light. And just to summarize it, they preserve, this is like a place, a school of thought where they preserve some of our ancient Kemetic teachings.
Okay.
Right. But the faces, of course, were the typical faces of religion. So I was like, who is these, big belly white folks trying to tell me about
That's
God
hilarious.
or something like that? You know what I'm saying? But I was also able to see through the lectures and the discussions and in the text and saw like, whoa, this is our ancient wisdom. It's like, how did y'all get your hands on this? Come to find out, I learned that our ancestors said I-A-I-O-U instead of A-E-I-O-U. Like Dr. Sabi. Some people say CB if they're not familiar with how to pronounce his name, right? The E makes an A sound.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the A back then, before we dropped the tone, made an I sound. So that's, I was just trying to be like all ancient, like, I'm Asa now, like that's, what to call me. But at the end of the day, now fast forward, humility is on 10, and it's basically like, an exoteric version of self. Yeah, but because in Japanese it still has a profound meaning too. Asa means Lord of the Heavens, or God appears, or morning and stuff. So
okay.
Anyways, fast forward from there, she's like, kicking me out the nest. Look, it's time for you to get out here and do your thing with the world.
That's beautiful.
But that's where that consultation, like, one-on-one energy started under her tutelage and her wings.
Beautiful.
And then it just was a wrap after that.
Oh, there's like a point, I mean, not always, but often, where there's like, I guess it's even in like a parent-child relationship, or like a teacher-student relationship, where there's like a tension for the student to become the teacher. But what I hear you saying is that process was not traumatic for you because it was nurtured. Like, this is how you counsel people. This is how you take a one-on-one. This is how you teach people. There wasn't, I don't want to say often, but I have seen where there could be competition Like, who's this little young guy coming up behind me? But it wasn't. It was like oh, okay, I see some mastery in you, or I see where you could master this thing and just be really, like perfect it. And I want to nurture that. And that is really powerful that she did that with
Yeah,
you and for you.
definitely.
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell us about your first consultation.
Can I just say this one insert? I
Mhm.
know we was like throwing shade at the Matrix and all of that, but without spilling the beans,
Mhm.
one of the most profound things that I took from it was the light that they shined on the forces, the
Yeah.
mental and feminine principle. I mean, the masculine and feminine principle. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But as you brought that up, I
Mhm.
just saw that in me and Dr. Kiefer's relationship. You know, it's like a yin
Like a
yang,
balance.
perfect balance.
And
Mother and
also
son.
age.
Exactly.
Wow. And
Yeah.
experience. And
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
It was divine arrangements at
So
its finest.
tell us about your first consultation. Were you nervous? Were you like what was that like? You don't have to tell us, because I know that's confidential, but I'm speaking more as to like your personal experience, like experiencing doing a consultation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So quick, not a sidestep, but quick background story for that. The reason why she was real adamant about me doing consultations is because while I was working under her, back giving praise to the nation of guys and earth and that like meticulous, arduous mentality or whatever, I would just constantly be on my studies, you know. But I had took a course, a doctorate course from Dr. Ali Muhammad, and I learned how to use the quantum magnetic analyzers and scan people's biological makeup, basically like looking at the magnetic condition of all of their different systems. And when she saw that I could do that, she was like, whoa, like you need to do that here. And then she really pushed me. But I want to say she made me do her first. That was pretty easy. But as far as like the first client that she brought to the wellness center, without giving too much of their information up, it was just a beautiful experience. I feel like it's like a portal is opened up, almost like a sacred space is created, you know, because we're not just talking, we definitely discuss food for sure, but we also go behind the scenes and talk about the mentality and just get like real personal, you know. But that just turned into a beautiful scenario from that point on, and it just got deeper and more intense, you know, from person to person.
And you talk in your book about magnetism, and you just spoke about magnetism now. Can you speak the system that you were saying, is that the system where they take magnets? Is that one where they take the magnets? That's not that one.
No, there's different types. But this particular one, you just held a rod and it just picked up the current.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
It's the 2-prong rod, that one?
They have
like
those
a tuning fork, not that.
similar in design or like shape or whatever. But no, I'll bring you one. Yeah, we'll tap into it in real time. But nowadays they have stuff where you could like sit into a chair like off of like the superhero movies and sit back, put your hands down and like see it on the holographic screens or whatever.
Wow.
Like it's getting big. I think the first place to probably have it like real big in like modern time will be maybe Inception or something like that. They doing things in phases, but be on the lookout for something that incredible there. That's out in the burbs. For those of you who are not familiar, that's like a wellness place where you could go and get your brain cells recalibrated, calm the nerves. It's basically a place where you go to eliminate stress.
And they do flotation.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I haven't been, but my friend Sherry, I think she was working there. I think she was working there.
Okay.
And she always tell me like, "Pipe, you should go." And I'm just like, is it cold water?
You know what? You be trying to be humble and dodge the praise, but at the end of the day, people go there striving to get to where you are. You know what I'm saying? Without like trying to put you up on a pedestal. It is what it is. You know, like people like literally, oh my God, I feel so calm and collected and capable after they leave out that place. But some sessions back to back to back, and they could kind of be like touching the hem of your garment vibration wise. Like, so you can go like to experience it, but they trying to get people to turn into you.
Oh,
you
wow.
feel me?
That's interesting. Yeah, she's always like, Pipe, you should go. I'm like, okay, I want to go. And it's interesting because the way that I've heard her speak about it, and then I forgot the brother's name that owns it, but he's got David. He has a show on YouTube. What's the name of his show?
The Inner Wealth.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
On the Earn Your Leisure
Yeah.
on the Earn Your Leisure channel on YouTube. He's got a great show, and he talks about financial literacy, health, that type of thing. But the people that come on there, like they're always talking about it, and I'm just like, I imagine cold water, and I'm just like, ooh, yeah, nah. I can't be immersed in cold water. It's
You're
not
thinking
that.
of like William Hoff, like all that cold therapy. It ain't.
I was
like
thinking
that.
it was like cold therapy. I was like, But I know some people who went and told me it was incredible, and they, it made them feel really amazing. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to invest in myself in 2022, and I'm gonna go.
Bet.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
That's gonna be a power move.
I want to meet him anyway because he just seems like really an incredible person. What did she say? What did Queen Cooper say?
She said, "I've watched Asa from afar for so long. Congratulations on your book."
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah. So tell us. So wait, I'm gonna throw it to Brittany because I've been talking a lot.
She want me to answer that question still. My bad.
No, I thought that was a good breakdown about healing. About you considering yourself a healer.
That was very thorough.
Yeah, I like that. I think more people should hear that.
Okay. I thought earlier you were saying more so like let the people know that they heal themselves.
I love that.
Like people be like, yeah, I healed so and so, which I do know people who are like capable of like switching up frequencies, snapping up their fingers and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, to a degree, that's temporary. You know what I'm saying? Because the person has to get that work done from the inside out. And until they do that, from their own willpower, they're going to have to get them lessons eventually down the road.
I will say this before I toss it back to you, Brittany. Speaking of people who are healers, when I lived in New York City, I used to go to Chinatown once a week to get massages. And I like to go in Chinatown because there's a lot of, Chinese, I'm going to just say healers, herbalists, Reiki masters, Chi masters, Qigong, all that. And there's an elder that is in New York City. I haven't lived there forever, so I wonder, if he's still alive. He, Master Lee. If you're still with us, Master Lee, I love you and I appreciate you. Master Lee because at the time I was doing Tai Chi and yoga and capoeira and a bunch of other stuff. And I was doing the Tai Chi somewhere else, but then I would go to him for the massage, and he had chi in his hand, like from here to where he could raise his vibrational frequency and emit heat energy from his hands and scan your entire body, and wherever he would scan, he would feel certain things, and he'd tell you, and he'd be like, oh, you need to eat broccoli, and like I can't make this up.
I know, it's just still.
And he would just scan all over you, and then for me, he'd be like, you are so yang, like you need more yin, you have a lot of yang. He would literally like massage me, and I'd be like, great. And he'd be like, come on. And then we would do like the Tai Chi, and then he would like move. I could literally feel almost like the Matrix, like Neo. I could feel the energy like move, and he would like hand it to me, and I would hand it back to him, and we would do this Tai Chi where we'd be going back and forth with the energy. You could literally feel it, and he would like literally like transform like my yang energy, which is like male and female, is like a strong like male energy, and he would literally like help me like get more yinned out, which is like supposed to be female energy, calm, whatever. It was the most amazing, fascinating thing ever. It sounds like I'm making this up, but
it doesn't.
It was like he could literally like push me, and he wouldn't even touch me. Like physically, like he wasn't putting his hands on me, but he would do this, and you'd be like, and you could like feel it, and you felt something push you.
This sounds like Doctor Strange. Are you guys into Doctor Strange?
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Love Doctor Strange.
It's
That's
cool.
my favorite dude in like the Marvel series.
my
period. I
gosh.
love Doctor Strange.
I
That's
love him
my
too.
man.
What does he do? Tai-Chi?
No, so Doctor
Man,
Strange
they was talking about chakras in
was
the first movie. I was like,
utter, excuse my language, asshole. He was a doctor. He was like good looking, rich, like, oh, I'm so great because I'm a doctor typecast, right? And then he gets into like this major car accident and he gets paralyzed and it ruins his whole perception of himself. So he goes around and tries to find like a healer. He goes to every single healer you can like imagine. And he gives up. And right when he gives up, similar to like Asa, he sees some guy like ducked off doing something. He's like, well, how are you doing so amazing? Like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on in your world? And the guy kind of like goes like, I'm not telling you. And then he goes, no, tell me. So then he gives the guy an address and he goes to this house and a woman, right, is this like master of metaphysics. And
Of course. Is she black?
No, she was white.
Nah, that's not real.
And she, well, no, she was healing. No, that's funny. But seriously, she taught him principles of light. And he, in this world, learned how to walk again. And not only that, found, was introduced to magic. And then
did he become kind?
He did not. It wasn't that he became kind. It was more so about him tapping into things. Yeah, he was a brilliant doctor, but little did he know he was so powerful in the subconscious and the unconscious realm.
He did get kinder.
He did. I mean, but that wasn't what they wanted you to see, him get kinder, right?
The character development for him throughout the movies led him to be kinder through different situations. Like he had to overcome certain stuff in his own origin story movie that kind of forced him to be kind. He got humbled, of course, when he was in that accident. But even after meeting like all the other superheroes, like they're like so.
But the coolest part about the movie is that he finds out that the master teacher is tampering into darkness, right? And he looks at her different, but she tries to teach him in order to be a true master, you have to master light and dark.
This is true.
It's so powerful. But
wait, hold on. So who is that? Kenny? What does that say? Or does that say Kame?
I'm not sure how to pronounce it. If you could spell out how we should pronounce it, that'd be great because we don't want to mispronounce.
Red. I don't know what it means.
Yeah, but that's good stuff. But
it's Doctor Strange. Okay, I'll check it out.
It's probably top for context of what we talk about on the podcast and what we're going to talk about tonight. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah, the best one.
Of course it makes magic and a lot of the things that are inside of this book look like it's like you just said, like it's fictional, right? But it's not as great as a Matrix, but it's good.
So you know what? Maybe we'll let Deja. Deja, do you want to run off your questions first about the book?
Sort of, yeah. So it's kind of like a tie-in thing, not really a question. So before I started reading this book, I started listening to more podcasts about like making money or investing money, not necessarily making it, but just like investing it. And all of the rich people that end up on these podcasts as guests or even hosts, because I'll just listen to different financial advisory like podcasts. So they all talk about meditating. They all have to meditate. Like they can't do anything unless they meditate. And a lot of them will meditate more than one time a day. And you talk about healthy habits in your book here, almost a little bit after the middle, I suppose. Let me get the right chapter. The habits chapter, chapter 33 on meditation. So you list your recommended habits, which are genuinely listen as opposed to simply hearing what someone is saying. Begin your days with gratitude. Plan ahead and do so with planetary energies in mind. Practice to make improvements. Be consistent with beneficial practices. Remain hydrated daily. Eat to prepare you for the activities you have ahead of you. Think before you speak and act. Live in the moment as opposed to dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. And center yourself often throughout the day. So just to tie that back into the meditating that you spoke of, I'm just going to read a piece from this book. You said, Purchasing plants to beautify and enliven your home can help, but does not substitute for what nature offers. Also, complete breathing will benefit all who make it a practice to fill up the lungs by inhaling and sending oxygen to the lower regions of the diaphragm, as opposed to heavy, short breaths directed at the top of the chest that only fill up a portion of the lungs. So deep breathing does help you gather your thoughts for sure. I've done that through like random panic attacks, like before a test when I was in high school, just freaking out because I was anxious about the material that was in front of me that I might not have been prepared for, or even just in a situation where the temper is on the verge of being lost. Just gathering your center and just breathing will help you get back to that. And again, to tie it into like the rich people that meditate and everything, just to center their minds and their spirits. Can you just speak on how you learned to do that?
I want to say
How you realized like it was so important, because that's something really only experience can show you. Like you can't, people will talk about meditating and stretching and yoga and everything all day, but until you actually sit down and you breathe and you read the thoughts that are passing through your mind without really associating with them, that's really powerful. So how did you learn to realize that was really important?
Dr. Kiefer wrote a book called Standing in the Majesty of Grace, and she had a chapter in there on breathing. So that's, I want to say, where I had my first dose of the knowledge of the breath, you know. And then from then, one of my good friends put me on a book called The Science of Breath by Yogi Rama Sharaka, right? And that book is profound, like, and breaks it down to a science, gives you different techniques, etc. But what I've learned is that basically controlling your breath, especially when you do complete breathing, is literally like putting your hands on the steering wheel mentally.
Yeah.
You know, because most of the time, like the average person, they just like picking up thoughts and dropping them off, and they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But meditation basically allows you to be the authority when it comes to your brain and your mind. Another thing that I think is super significant is the fact that even physicists will show you and tell you that what we know as physicality is only like 4% of the universe. You know what I'm saying? This is just like what things look like. So meditation allows you to get more acclimated to what's behind the scenes, not only to be aware of it, but to wield it and control it and to dictate your reality. You got all these people like, yeah, you control your life, and we know it, but how do we do it? What's the practical means? And I think that's one of the primary steps.
Good. I was also going to add that since we've all been wearing masks for almost 2 years now, breathing deeply is a lot harder. At least when I'm wearing my mask, I have to be really intentional with a deep breath, because I get tired of taking a little, like, you know, just to get through whatever I have to do while I'm wearing it. So I think it's really important that while we're all wearing these masks too, that we do need to set aside time and prioritize breathing. Make it like set time for it as you would prayer or eating.
Definitely. It makes me appreciate breath even more too. As soon as I take off my mask, I'm like, some oxygen. You know what I'm saying? And, all my cells just love it.
Even after being sick, sometimes when you're congested and you just like, man, I just want to breathe again. That'll show you too. Like as soon as you're able to take another deep breath, like that's all you needed.
Yeah.
We still don't value it. Even everybody has had a cold a few times in their life, at least. I hope not, but
I'm with you.
On average, like we all know what that feeling is like when we're finally able to breathe again, and then we just keep forgetting about it until the next time we can't appreciate it.
We don't appreciate it until those moments. It's funny.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. That was my favorite portion in the book, because breathing is really important to me right now.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And Brittany, did you want to?
Yeah, I want to just loosely talk about a few things. I want to again like show everyone the cover of the book and just how vibrant it is, and it makes you when you saw this, didn't it make you want to pick up a piece of fruit or a vegetable or something? Just
made me think about a garden, like fresh,
right?
Looks so fresh.
So I want you to just talk about the process of the cover and the process of you sitting down and saying, I'm gonna write this book. And of course we want to bring Rafa Wright into the room as well as you kind of detail that process. But I want you to just, again, get into the cover and what your intentional thinking was about the cover and the importance of the name, the cover, and how you even got to writing it.
So that's Rafa's daughter on the back. That's actually based off a real picture. You can check out our Instagrams and find her on there.
Aw.
Mine is Asa means doctor. ASAMEANSDOCTOR on Instagram. But as far as the cover art, all I did was gave the concept to a brother named Amel. His Instagram is Tattoo Jesus.
Okay.
But yeah, he's transitioning right now from being a tattoo artist to like just a classic modern day Basquiat. You know what I'm saying? That brother's
Nice.
incredible. I don't even think he realizes how amazing he is. But I gave him the idea. Next thing you know, he put this magic together and composed this masterpiece. That basically, gave the aesthetic compliment to, the content inside.
Yeah, because it
Um,
feels, not to cut you off, but it feels like Detroit. It
yeah.
feels like a neighborhood in Detroit that is still being protected by the 85% blackness that exists here, right?
Mhm.
And it feels like transition, right? It just feels like exactly what the title says.
It looks like the
Yeah.
Detroit is different house.
It does.
It gives me a sense
Hey.
of community when I see it, Detroit is different, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The grocery store on the back. Just
Yeah.
beautiful. I just wanted to take a time and appreciate that, right? We're in the age of digital, and we talked about the importance of audiobooks, right? But when you get a hard copy of something, right, it should
Tangible.
feel like this, right? And I think that's important, not just for sales, but for people to stay engrossed into what they're reading. If they just see it laying, on their table
Yeah.
where they keep their books, right? It makes you want to get back into it. So I think that's
Yeah.
important. But please tell us about the process of actually saying, you know what, I'm gonna write this.
Yeah, so Rafa and I both had the idea of doing a health book, and once we became aware of the other person's idea, we was like, you know what, we just need to collab, bro. I was already a fan of his work because he had did a few books on finances, how to hustle to win, and several other books. So this is his fourth book, my first. But basically, like another thing about the imagery, like you see the house, it might look like just the old house in the hood or something, but then you see all that light and cosmic energy inside,
Yeah.
and that
Fire.
really corresponds with the point of the book. Like when you say the hood or you say the projects, you typically think of people who just wasted, left out, they scrambling for this and that, people, rich people waiting for them to die off. That's who the companies just use for fuel, the et cetera, right? But the truth is that the most potent, most amazing, magnificent power possible in the universe exists in those people specifically.
Mhm.
Yes, the primordial power is in everything. These microphones, these chairs we living in, all this is life force energy, but it's levels to everything too, you know?
Mhm.
So we just really wanted to put a bright spotlight on that. Like, yeah, you be bashing these folks and this and that, you be talking dirty about us, but at the end of the day, we where it's at. And the main thing for anybody who doesn't get the book, the main thing that I want you to understand is that when we be trying to get like black liberation like popping, it's not so we could get on a high horse and like bash any other race or group of people. Is because the reason we want to have black liberation is because whatever vibe we're on is what you're going to see in the world.
So true.
Like every so-called race has a purpose and a function down here, like color. You see, we have a section of colors on here. Color is
Mhm.
vibration. When it comes to the purpose and the power in black people, we're the tone setters. So wherever we're vibrating, that's what the world is gonna see. Even at
Mhm.
our lowest, you see people over in Asia doing the Soldier Boy 10,000 deep, doing Michael Jackson dances 10,000 deep. You know what I'm saying? Like wherever we're at, whatever we're doing, that's what you're gonna see. So as soon as we get on the come up and get back in our rightful place, the thing is everybody can win,
Mhm.
But I think it's so much fear outside of us that's like, the little contrast or conflict right now, but it's inevitable, you know what I'm saying? But this is just our effort at making it a super easy transition because it's going to happen,
Mhm.
but it's just a matter of, how much friction, the people want to experience in the process.
I love it. So I have some things that I do want to get into the book. My second question is about you starting off in the book from you talking about the universe. Can you talk about the importance of placing that first?
Definitely. So even when we talk about stars, we still talked about the cosmos and the blackness prior to the stars. Because typically, even in astrology, we, talk about the zodiac signs, and I'm this, I'm a Leo, I'm a Capricorn, I'm a this, and I'm a that. But and we talk about planets, but it's important to discuss where those planets are suspended in the first place. We talk about the sun and tell life and time by the sun, but the sun even exists in that blackness. So why not start there? We like to count, this is $1, $2, this is a penny, but all of these numbers come out of the zero. So we just wanted to give people a foundation for everything else that we discussed. So basically we started off with that primordial power, the blackness, and we also put a chart in there for those of you who may not have the book or may not want to get it. But we also wanted to explain and show that when we say words like the Honorable Elijah might have used triple black darkness, nowadays you hear people say dark matter, you hear people say 0 point energy. All of these are synonyms. And if you study these things individually, what you'll notice is that you'll grasp a different level of understanding, just like a slice of the pie, until eventually you can grab the whole thing and you can have a thorough understanding of everything outside of that. Or not necessarily outside of that, but you'll understand that everything is that, just in a different form.
I agree. I think you said that it was important for people to heal themselves based on a little bit of that theory that a healer, quote, air quotes, can only go so far. That if you don't have the foundation and the root of how things exist, right, it's kind of hard to keep that up for yourself, right? So I think that's very important. Speaking of that, you talk about pressure meditation.
Pressure mediation.
Mediation, excuse me. Can you talk about that?
That's Mother Nature's language right there. We can think about what we want to accomplish. I'm going to be rich one day. Everybody want to be a millionaire. When you sick, everybody want to be healed up. Mother Nature don't give a damn about what you're talking about. She's going to respond to your pressure. What are you exerting? What efforts are you giving, to reach that destination? Are you being consistent? Are you striving to get to whatever space? But yeah, that's basically like the hidden language for those of you who don't understand nature. We have all these different perspectives, and a lot of people get in their egos. Especially a good example would be the Black community. Whatever place took you out of that religious mindset, people typically have like this. They feel like they have an obligation to that school of thought, and they're like, yeah, this is how I'm thinking. I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I'm a Muslim, I'm a whatever. But at the end of the day, all of us need to humble ourselves and understand that the language is the same underneath all of these things. Pressure is where it's at. But basically that's the background function to magnetism. So we all have our own individual magnetic fields, but what determines the actual broadcast or parameters of a magnetic field is the pressure behind it that determined that. And that pressure is even behind that will be our awareness and our consciousness.
Got you.
So that's basically a simplified way.
I love the way you described it in the book, and that's why I wanted you to speak on it a little bit. We kind of talked about light. You talk about light a lot in the book, right? Yeah. I mean, you find it in the beginning when you're explaining things from a universal perspective, but then it carries on through the book. So I won't touch on that too much, but the chapter on melanin, right? The first thing that I thought about when I read it, remember the song Complexion, Deja, with Kendrick Rhapsody? And it's so beautiful, right? And then you have the charts about melanin and you discuss what melanin truly is. And I kind of want to talk about it a little bit because it's a pop word, right? In pop culture right now, like my melanin's popping, or I got melanin. Like it's something that we talk about. So I just want you to speak on melanin from a pop culture perspective and why at this current moment, I don't know if it's more people, it's the age of information, people are learning more, and it's just timing. And then I also want you to talk about, from the book's perspective, how do we begin to take the steps to address colorism that still obviously exists, right? So
wait, so before you answer that, I do want to say in the book, like he was talking about the different charts, and I don't know if y'all can see this. So that's a chart on melanin and the pigments and basically like the colors and their roles. And he gives the scientific name of the pigment, and then or what kind of melanin the pigment is, and then um, how it interacts, uh, or how it controls a function, right, of your body. And before that, he names the systems of the body. So by the time you get to, if you read the book in order, by the time you get to the melanin chapter, you will have gone through um, understanding, all of the astrological, the corresponding astrological um systems, or how the systems, we have 12 systems of the body, and then you have 12 astrology signs. So you would have gone through like what those systems are, and their functions on a scientific level, but then also astrologically. And then there's some other planetary correlations as well. And so I just wanted you to add that into Brittany's question.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start off with that because that actually is a
Better lead in.
prerequisite. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
antecedent to it. So when it came to the intention, because that was a previous question as well, we wrote the book in a circle. So we start off with the primordial material, and we basically, from there you got cosmic dust and all these primordial features, etc., star formation, and then we start talking about astronomy, which is the blueprint for astrology, and so on and so on, and then show the astrological mirror into the physical body, and so on and so on. And then by the time we get to melanin, which is a pop word, like you said, I want us to understand, because back in the day it was like, yeah, we got melanin and white people don't got melanin, and like every single thing has melanin, or else it doesn't exist, because that's basically like the earthly form of the blackness that we started off with. For anybody that wants to get scientific with it, of course, study the element carbon. Dr. Sebi was real adamant about that. He used to be like, "There's no such thing as melanin. It's just carbon." And some people like nowadays be trying to bash him, or they might not understand where he was coming from, but that was real key, because you can't really. That's like saying, you talking about the hood, but you don't want to mention black people. Like, you got to get down to what it actually
The root.
is
Mhm.
scientifically. You know what I'm saying? Substantially. So that particular section is key for nowadays, because once we understand how to clean it, respect it, and we get a gist of what it is capable of doing or allowing us to do, we can, tap into all them superpowers we be seeing on the movies and in the cartoons growing up. We be looking at it amazed from the TV screen, but how many people are interested in tapping into that? You know how many dormant organs we got in the body that we don't even discuss in, biology books and
Unreal.
stuff? Like, we was really doing it big back in the day. And we can do that nowadays. It's just a matter of conditions, you know cleaning. The movie The Matrix was called The Resurrections, right? Like, we
Yeah.
can really resurrect those forces. And when we talk about astrology towards the all throughout the book, really, but towards the end, we talk about the planetary influence. It's a tad bit more. The planet Pluto has a very special relationship with black people, because it not only governs transformation, death, and rebirth and things like that, but
Future.
it also right. Right now that's divine
That's
order.
just I was just about to say that's crazy.
It
you
is
say that.
future and
Yeah.
Pluto.
Yeah,
Wow.
crazy.
But the universe knows exactly what it's doing. It had to
Uh-huh.
use that medium, because that's where everybody looking. That's
Yeah.
because he the hottest, this, that.
Yeah, no
what
doubt.
Kanye West just say? He's the most significant artist of the last decade. We might not think that, but it is what it is to
Facts,
those
yeah.
who into that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
True.
saying? But that's the subconscious mind getting tweaked, which is really all that matters at the end of the day.
Wow.
But Pluto has a special relationship with black people, because it not only corresponds with those things, but resonates with old dormant forces being released finally, and that's what's going on with us. We've been oppressed. We done went through so-called slavery. We done been stripped of our lineage and our attachment to the land and ownership, et cetera, et cetera. and it had an effect on us. You know, look at our generation and the babies popping out now. But the release of those dormant, like pulled back forces is what the world is experiencing right now. And that has a lot to do with us by whatever means. Back to that word pressure, is so much pressure, we can't die. You know what I'm saying? It's so much pressure that we're busting right now, and we're being released, you know, subconsciously and mentally from all of those limitations. And the world is about to, not even about to, it's experiencing us right now to the point where if you even pay attention to the news, it's not just one bad guy falling off. Like systematic white supremacy is buckling and crumbling by the day. I'm seeing police officers doing all types of sketchy stuff, getting put on blast every time I get on Instagram now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the world is really bowing down to what we have going on behind the scenes, and that is attributed to melanin and the condition of it. You know,
I want to ask it. I want you to elaborate on, like I said, you talk about the different, systems, and I wanted, for me, I grew up. My mom was very, God rest her soul, was very, I would say, vigilant and diligent about the skin system. So, like caring for your skin. That's like in my family. That's like a huge tenant or value. From like not wearing really too much makeup to what kind of products the makeup is made of. Like me, I don't wear makeup. I haven't really never worn makeup probably since high school, when I learned what was in makeup. But not no shade to people that wear makeup. I just don't choose to put that in my body. Even vegan stuff, I really. But I wanted you to. I want to read something here. I hope I can read it. I told you I'm supposed to be wearing my glasses. Let me put on my glasses. So,
is straining your eyes, like, how do you feel about trying to strengthen your eyes by not wearing your glasses? Because they do become dependent on them as you wear them.
Yeah, I think that we were talking earlier about particular nutrients called anthocyanins, which you could get from like dark colored fruits, vegetables, etc. That's very effective from the inside out. But another means, of course, is like if you don't have on your glasses, allowing the sun to penetrate your eye, either like early in the morning with that infrared light or towards the latter part of the day. Maybe like experts can do it, when it's like noon or something like that.
Right.
But starting off, you want to make sure you just, getting off that morning energy. And different exercises, just like you can do push-ups and sit-ups and stuff like that with your eyes, you can do different movements or whatever to just like how you can like try your best to like look to the left or like the external portions, like, and it's like that slight pull. That's the equivalent of like doing yoga and stretching with the other parts of your body, just with the eyes, and your
I need
body
to do that.
Yeah. You ever had like gook on a rubber band and then you stretched it and it came off? It has a similar effect. Because a lot of times, like, Piper, plaque and mucus, they just call it different names. On the scalp is dandruff, on the eyes is cataracts, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So you basically like getting that gook or like undid into the point where the body could release it through its lymphatic system.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about skin because you have
them glasses hard, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Another pair my mom chose. Thank you, Mom. She always try to keep me in style. So you talk about excellent skin foods, but I just wanted to read something just so and I think you wrote this part here, right? Because
he wrote the summaries.
He wrote the summaries, right? Rafa wrote the
of
summaries.
The book,
I think this is you. Okay. So I just want you guys to hear what the reading experience is like, just so you can understand how clear and clean and simplified the book is. What we refer to as creation is nothing more than the differentiation or formation of the primal material of the universe, while the ego is responsible for the illusion of our mental and spiritual separation. The skin is responsible for our apparent physical separation, as it gives the appearance of parameters and distinguishes between the inside and outside of a person. We are all interconnected on many levels, but the skin reminds us of what we are undeniably responsible for.
I love that.
What we term the skin is essentially a combination of minerals magnetically suspended and held together in water. And this section comes within the section where you talk about the different systems of the body. So we know that the skin is your largest organ, right? Like you have your heart, your brain, and your skin is your largest organ. And we know that your skin responds to and absorbs and releases, toxins. And we know that if you want to, let's say heal someone or do some medicine, you could, maybe drop it under their tongue or take it in food or a drink or a tea, or you could rub it into their skin, especially like if you use castor oil, for instance, on those parts of the body where it's going to go seep, right under that layer and go straight to wherever you want to, put it. So I wanted you to talk about this skin chapter because you talk about the skin foods. Yeah, so I wanted you to talk about skin for a second because we just talked about melanin, which made me think about skin. So yeah.
So for those of you who are not familiar, our skin has about 7 layers, the different dermal layers. But I also wanted to point out that sea moss is an excellent food for that too. I know we learned about like ingesting it and it has all these nutrient rich properties or whatever, but you could also take that in the gel form and like massage it into your skin and body or whatever and give it some type of nutrients from the outside in. But when it comes to the skin, like Piper was saying, it's extremely important what we put on ourselves because eventually, whatever you allow to touch your skin, it makes its way down to the bloodstream. And we all know how important the blood is, either consciously or subconsciously. That's like your biological blueprint, that primordial ocean inside of you that allows for animation and different things of that nature. But depending on the part of the body the skin expresses itself in, like or like as far as like disease is concerned, I know this is really far-fetched, but let's say like herpes or something like that, they're the only difference in the different types is basically the location. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the skin, it has this like cosmic intelligence to it that basically communicates to us what we need to address. You know what I'm saying? From like super innate levels to the point where you might see like discoloration, to the point where on the opposite end you might see some disformation, like blisters and things of that nature. But anyways, it's a system that typically gets left out. One, because it's like she said, it's a organ, so it needs to be respected and treated as such. But we need to just start respecting it and honoring it because it's our face, if you will. It's like an extension of the face. For anybody who doesn't understand the etymology of words, face is like a mask. The skin is basically what's separating you. Is honor all the different parts have a special function, but this particular one is basically separating you from the rest of creation. Apparently, at least, or vibration wise, at least. So yeah, as far as nourishing it, I think that the primary thing you could do is expose it to as much sunlight as possible. Some people in other countries, they walk around butt naked, because that's like over here we might look at that like it's something lowly, but that's probably one of the most healthiest things you could possibly do. Some people over here in the Americas, they might just, open up their private parts in the window or something so they could get some light in. Or they might, what's it called, the deer effect or something? Where you like, some people just like, put it down the other hole so they could nourish their body from the bottom up. But yeah, the skin is something that gets really slept on, but has a lot of cosmic and mysterious properties to it that I think we're still discovering to this day. But typically we say like melanin and look at it as pigment, but the truth is every single portion of our body, every square inch is composed of some type of melanin, you know, not just the skin. That's just what we get to like look at to kind of see the range, because it's also some type of barometer, you know, to let us know what's going on inside the body too.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw it to you, Deja, if you have another question.
I don't think I do. This has been great. I feel like I should, but you guys have touched on pretty much everything, and that skin portion was like the last thing looming over my brain.
Because what about you, Brittany?
Of course. I had a
I
random...
probably just got two more because I'm like, because y'all need to buy the book. So,
well, I get it, but what about, is this a true statement? So can food be considered a magnetic field that fuels our skin? Is food is a magnetic field, correct?
Everything has a magnetic field.
Okay.
Yeah. Food has everything. So
a vibrational currency.
So we started off the book. You brought up talking about the blackness and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is where things come from. So everything outside of that is a thing. Every single thing has its own signature magnetic field. So we could say that the food is basically magnetism.
Okay.
Which has its magnetic field. I'll be all meticulous. And
I know.
That's that Mercury.
That's
energy,
what I'm
my
asking.
bad.
No, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
To answer your question, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about I have three things that are very important. And you don't have to talk about it in the format of the book because I want people to read the book as well. But the subject matter is important. We can speed do it too. So geometry. When I say that to you, what does that mean to you? Not, separating it from how we were taught geometry in school, or even how people conceptualize it through playing pool, right?
Yeah.
Why did geometry make it into this book?
Because the shape of something dictates its function. Like a tire is shaped like a circle so it can roll, right? Or your house has a square foundation so it can sit on the ground. In masonry, we have different tools and different things, so things have their own shapes so they can perform how they are supposed to in the world. But geometry comes in handy because it actually is the science that you can use to determine those shapes and make it super simple, Yeah. And then for those who are interested, like in astrology, the sign that came to mind too is Capricorn, because Capricorn is corresponding with our structure and our skeletal system, which you need geometry to determine.
I love it.
Yeah, I wanted you to talk about I'm going to use the word frequencies. So you talking here about, there's a chapter that says it's chapter 30, everything vibrates. And you talked before about how you're studying the magnetism, right? And and I told you before about the chi master that I went to see that had the chi,
Dr. Lee.
Yeah.
He sounds so cool.
Master Lee, yeah. And so but here in chapter 30, where you talk about everything vibrates, you said here we want to take a look into specifically at how the law of vibration expresses itself in the human body. When we see the abbreviation MHZ, which is like megahertz, it means on million cycles per second. The abbreviation MHZ stands for, megahertz. So I wanted you to, because you also give here, I wanted people to see, I don't know if people could see this, where you talk about what it looks like to have a health. There we go. What it looks like to have a healthy body and some characteristics and a few characteristics of what dis-ease looks like in the body, disease. So I wanted you to speak about frequencies and their impact. Because I know if you go, like, I'm taking vocal lessons. My vocal coach has me go on 526, or just different frequencies that she has me meditate to. And each one like corresponds to like something different that's going to happen in my brain and my body and things like that. And we talked about how you can use like it's some like an instrument, right? Like a tuning. I'm calling it a tuning fork, but to, you know, bring the frequencies into like a certain pattern or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted you to talk about maybe kind of combine it because Brittany mentioned light, which is also a frequency and wavelengths and things, and like the correspondence of like uh frequencies and what they have to do with our health or or disrupting our health
hmm
as well. Yeah.
So at the beginning of the book, we had a small paragraph size, I think, on what's called dielectricity, and that is basically, um. So right now, you know what's up with like Nikola Tesla back in the day
Mm-hmm.
and how they kind of watered stuff down by the time they got to, let's say, Albert Einstein and Thomas Edison and stuff. They kind of put us in this box to limit people's understanding of what goes on behind the scenes. Prior to them, you had people like Charles Proteus Steinmetz and J.J. Evans and different people who were like prior to a Nikola Tesla or whatever. And basically they understood what was called dielectricity, which we would say nowadays spirit. But anyways, I bring that up because dielectricity, um, complemented by magnetism at a 90-degree angle, is what creates light. That's the
Can
formula
you
for
just
light.
repeat that? Because that was pretty intense what you just said there.
So dielectricity, which is basically, for those who are not familiar, which is the bulk of us, because we don't learn this in public schools or private schools for that matter, is basically the substance in the ether. It is the ether, if you will. But when we say ether, typically we're talking about like the still undifferentiated state, like the zero state ether. When there's a disturbance or a perturbation in the ether, we call that dielectricity. Dielectricity expresses itself in the form of what we call magnetism naturally, like it automatically happens. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were to push your finger through a plastic sheet or something like that, that's that pressure, and then what you see on the other side is basically how magnetism takes place. The combination of those two things at a 90-degree angle is how we get light. Now light, the reason for bringing that up is because now that we are light can be expressed at different wavelengths. We say frequency, for those of you who don't understand that, substantially, like let's say for instance I drink this bottle of water, I'm probably going to go to the bathroom a little more frequently than you guys. You know what I'm saying? If I'm doing that every time I'm here with you. But basically the amount of um the way that the wavelength basically circulates or moves about in a particular window, that can happen like extremely fast when we say high frequencies, or it can happen extremely slow, like with a microwave or something, right? And we're high frequency individuals. That's why the doctors who know what's up, they tell you pregnant women don't stand in front of the microwave or don't do things around low frequencies, et cetera, because it contradicts the standard vibration of what you want to have going on for a quote unquote healthy body. Now, when we say healthy and unhealthy, I personally just equate that to a person either going in either direction. Because if a person is like so-called pure and then they start doing a whole bunch of BS, you know what I'm saying, then they're going in a unhealthy direction. Eventually they might take themselves out the game still, and vice versa. A person could be, poverty stricken or whatever and have like limitation and then get rich and be able to buy fruits and vegetables or manifest a garden in the backyard, and they can constantly get healthier, so it's like a pole thing going on there. But when it comes to frequencies inside the body, I think that it's important for us to understand charts like these, basically, so we can have free will, eat whatever you want to. If you want to do Burger King, do your thing. I don't care. You got you could do whatever you want to under the sun. But at the end of the day, if you understand how your body works and the ranges that are best for you, you can know how much Burger King to eat before you do a cleanse. Or you might need to know how often you need to work out or how much water you drink in order for you to not have problems. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a template that I think is important for people to just respect themselves more. Because if we did that simple thing, you could still eat whatever you want to in moderation and not have to go to the hospitals and not have them filled up like it is nowadays. We could be our own doctors right at home, just based off of understanding the way that we vibrate.
So how do you feel about like digital devices that emit EMF,
I think
which
that
is electromagnetic radiation?
right.
Yeah.
So nowadays, we keep in mind like planets and their energies are going to be expressed. So we're in the so-called age of Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, which basically governs technology. So
Right.
we're going to have upgrade of technology constantly for like the next 1,000 years or something like that. Plus, so I think that it's inevitable for those things to exist. But I think that in order for us to stay healthy, because that like getting bombarded with all those waves is going to increase. It's up to us to increase our frequencies internally, which can only happen via upgrading our consciousness, participating with healthier practices and people, upgrading our environments, our food choices, et cetera, et cetera. Because if we're going to, like a bad guy on a video game or the TV show, like the good guy get beat up, then he got to go train, and then he could come back and deal with the bad guy. It's the same principle. You know what I'm saying? But that's just what time it is. And those who don't get with the program, it's the circle of life. They're going to turn into an ancestor, and it is what it is.
I wanted to talk about that. You have begin where you are versus the title's called Begin Where You Are. So talk about the thin line of that concept of you mentioning that in the book versus people knowing this knowledge, knowing the direction they should be going in and don't do it.
Yeah, so that really sprouted from like on the Instagram. I be on there every day like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. I be scrolling too. But what I do is I see a lot of people who are quote unquote health coaches or specialists, and it's like, do this. It's my way or the highway. And if you don't do this, you about to die. Or like, come on, bro. For one, everything is not for everybody. Just like there's thousands of religions, there's thousands of ways to heal, Because like a dot, you can like expand that and turn it into a sphere. So who's to say that your particular angle or spot on the sphere is the right one? That's not how it works. Where the way to get healthy is to make your way back to the center, right? Which we say in the book is the opposite of all things. That's how we all interconnected. We look like you sitting over there, you over there, and I'm over here, but if we meditate, we could mess around and be doing some telepathy or something. I know you done had a situation.
Oh yeah.
Wait, dang, I was just thinking about you. That's a clear example right there, whether people want to realize it or not. But starting where you are, one, allows you to be genuine and realistic with that vibrational condition that you're at, and to just be realistic about how you maneuver in a gradual manner to wherever your goal is. We just want to respect and honor people more, and we need people to respect themselves and not try to just do everything that they see on the TV. It's the health equivalent of in the every community. I was gonna say the Black community, but you got the Kardashians doing it too. Like where they got this standard for how a woman should look, right? Now it's the average for women to go down to Dr. Miami or to go to somewhere and get a butt job, BBL, boob job, boo boo boo, because they want to look like a Barbie doll, right?
Barbies didn't even used to look like
right.
Yeah, I'm
you know
just
what I'm
saying,
saying?
like,
Yeah.
Just thinking about it. Yeah.
The caricature that the Kardashians have
if you're
molded
not this
themselves
way,
into.
you're not beautiful.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's the equivalent of that with health nowadays. If you're not doing like this and eating off the Dr. Sebi diet, you're not healthy. When in actuality, some people's lifestyle and their purpose on earth doesn't require for them to be a vegan or a vegetarian. I recommend my clients go to look at their second house. I don't call myself an astrologer, so go to an astrologer to get them to break it down for you after you see me, right? But look at your second house, your sixth house, and in some cases even your 10th house, to see like what your lifestyle needs to be like according to food, and how your taste and your likings go, and all of that digestive system requirements and all of that can be found in your birth chart. So we want to look at the stars. Regardless of what people say, like astrology is evil. Like if it was really evil, why would God put them up above your head, bro? Like, come on now. We got to get more realistic. If the sun makes you get hot when you step outside, what makes you think that the other planets don't have an influence on you? Like small stuff like that. We just got to grow up and get more realistic. But back to your question, like just starting off where you are is really the only thing that makes sense. Because if you're not doing that, you faking it, or you putting on fake boobs diet wise, you know, like it don't work like that.
Well, before we go, I just wanted to say, when I first saw you, you did this amazing breakdown of DNA. So I'm not gonna ask you to do that now. I'm gonna ask you to come back and
Uh-oh.
do
I would love to.
You have to come back.
come back more
Hey.
frequently, like
Y'all
be a
so
regular
cool.
guest, and
Hey,
Yeah, that'd
then
be great.
man,
That would
y'all
be
trying to make
so
my
and give
day.
us some
dope.
breakdowns. But before we go, I do want to say one thing. And since we're leaving, I think it's apropos to finish with a conversation about cleansing.
Boom.
So, I, so like, I don't know, Aisha's on here. She's Aisha Ellis is not only an amazing drummer and mother and artist, but and farmer, but she's also a colon hydrotherapist, and she's my colon hydrotherapist. And I always make jokes and say that I'm so glad that Aisha's my colon hydrotherapist because I couldn't imagine going to a stranger to get that done. I mean,
Yeah.
no disrespect because I don't even know now in COVID are people doing colon hydrotherapy. Like I don't
Man.
know if anyone's offering it. I know Dr. Jesse here, Dr. Jesse Brown in Detroit, Detroit Holistic Center. That's where I was going to get my colon hydrotherapy, and Aisha was is slash was my colon hydrotherapist. And since we've been in this pandemic, I haven't gone to go get. I usually go once a year, but I've just been doing different things about cleansing. But I wanted you to speak about two things in particular. So it's a twofold. It's not a question. I just wanted you to speak on
Mhm.
it. The idea, which I learned from Dr. Jewel Pukram, is not to stuff yourself, not to, well, number one, drink enough water so, so that you're not hungry, because many times your hunger is really thirst. And if you're starving yourself, then your body thinks it's hungry, but it might actually be thirsty. And starving yourself meaning from water, like you're not getting enough water throughout the day with all your minerals. But then if you get to that, like when people say, oh, I'm so hungry, right? Maybe they haven't taken in enough micronutrients or nutrients, right? So they are starving, right, in a sense, right? And so I want you to, and then by the time they eat, it's like, oh, I got to eat till I'm full, you know. And that's how, like, that's a reptilian way of eating, like reptiles eat so that they eat, and then they don't need to eat for like another long time until they could kill again. And so I wanted you to speak kind of twofold, because for me, I think about drinking water, and you spoke before about elimination, but the impact of not drinking water, and what that has on your system, and the way that your body is able to clean or not clean itself, and the importance of like all of that. Anyway, that was a whole lot, but I just wanted you to like speak on that.
Paraphrase it one more time. Water
So like,
and cleansing.
the importance of the relationship
Okay.
between getting the ample amounts of water,
Uh-huh.
and elimination, and the importance of elimination, and the maybe you can even touch on like how that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So water is the most soluble element on the planet. So it's able, like, eventually the Titanic is gonna get broken down. So we need water in order to kind of like break down the hardness. A lot of times when we consume foods, we forget like everything. Let's say you eat a blueberry, you could break that down into light, by the time you assimilate it and get it into the gut. If you eat a big juicy steak, however, the body can break it down, but it's going to need a lot more effort. And things like elements like water will, be a friend in that endeavor. And if you have a lack of water in the body is going to be extremely hard. Imagine trying to like mop a floor with like bricks and mop a floor without dipping it in the water. You know how complicated that would be? You would be scrubbing for days.
That's a great
So
analogy.
yeah, I just came up with that on the spot. Yeah, I used to suck at analogies, man.
Good one.
But yeah,
Good one.
that was smooth. But yeah, as far as cleansing goes, I want to reiterate something Dr. Kiefer put me on, and I was like doing it in phases. Sometimes we just hear detox, detox, detox all the time, and some people can detox themselves to death. And another thing is you might want to prep for a detox even. So in the book, we put decongestion before you detox. So like when you back to cleaning up, like using the house as an analogy, before you start sweeping and mopping, you take the chairs out, right? Or you move the couch or whatever, you move the furniture away and then you get to it. So that's basically why decongestion is important. So you can exercise to do that. Some people up on like kombucha or lemons and limes or different things to kind of like loosen up what you're about to remove. And that way when the chlorophyll comes, it could do its job extremely easily. Another thing that we forget about when it comes to the water is that you could go to a health food store, Better Health, Zerbos, whatever you went to, and buy all of the healthiest things. You could get all the herbs off of Dr. Sebi's list, but if you aren't hydrated, that particular food is not going to work like what you intended it to, how you intended it to work. You know what I'm saying? So, water is not just something that's important; it's essential. When you were developing your mama's womb, it was a plethora of water molecules there, allowing for you to be developed because water is also a portal, next to all its other titles. But yeah, I think that that particular science is underestimated in a sense. And I think that too many times too, we get caught up on how much water to drink and not necessarily the quality of the water, which is one thing. And then the other side to that is, okay, now what are you doing to the water now that you drink it? Because if you're drinking the gallon a day, right, and then you got a funky attitude, the water being a receptive element, a feminine element, is now subject to all of that frequency on a low vibrating level that you just
my
Look at you spitting bars.
I'm
Hey.
like, wow.
it's the truth though. It's the
For
truth.
real. You're just magnifying that.
Basically.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Amplifying
If you
it.
want a thorough understanding, you can go to a couple of places. One of them is Dr. Masaru Emoto, who's an ancestor now. And then prior to him, you had the OG, Dr. Mona Harrison. You might be able to find some of her work on YouTube now and probably some lectures and articles on the internet if you could pull them up and research enough. But she was basically the primary person when it came to like the science of water. Nobody was really touching on that. And then you came out with all this new stuff about alkaline water and this and that. But yeah,
Got you.
tap in with her when you get a chance. That's Dr. Mona Harrison. And then for like the more digestible modern day work, you can actually buy in book form. Dr. Masaru Emoto. That's Masaru. Last name Emoto. I think. Yeah. The hidden messages in water, the power of water.
That's
Yeah.
I know y'all
I
have
know
seen
those
that
titles.
YouTube video, right?
Mm-mm.
With the impact of the water of music or vibrations or speech on the water molecule is a pretty popular one. Deja's seen it,
Yeah, check that out, please.
Okay.
Well, I brought y'all know that we watch all types of podcasts on here, and if you saw the studio right now, you would see how we get down and we kind of like drink champs. You know how in drink champs they bring all the liquor bottles. Like I brought some herbs. It's just a few,
Show
but
off some.
well, the thing is, what I want to do. You know how Nori does the like rapid fire thing, where he asked them for like the MC. So I wanted to do the rapid fire with the with some of these herbs and things. So we were just talking about elimination. So we got some cascaras. Oops, which way do I go? This way.
Yeah.
So cascara sagrada. What's that?
That's for the digest tract. So that has a more so a masculine approach. I know we familiar with Senna a lot. Like you see the girls with the tummy tuck tees and all that modeling. Senna is the base for that, which has a feminine kind of relaxing the colon walls effect. the Cascara sagrada does the polar opposite and kind of shakes up the walls a tad bit, you know, in order to help bowels pass through. It's indigenous to North America, so it's excellent for those of us who I have their lineage right here in the Americas. But yeah, it's a powerful herb. I recommend it.
I didn't bring the bottle of castor oil because I didn't want to get messy. But castor oil.
Man, same thing, man. Dr. Kifa, she was really like, because I had never tried it prior to that. I knew what it was because I heard about it, you know, just from grandma's cabinets and stuff, but never again. I promise you. Yeah, I'm gonna put that on my scalp or something like that. But yeah, I ain't messing with it. You know,
that's funny because like I use castor oil on my hair and my scalp, but then I do castor oil. I have the rubber sheet.
Okay. Yeah, you
the whole situation.
You a different breed.
And I bought the cheesecloth and the plastic wrap. So yeah. Okay. Flax. Flax oil.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say what it says on the internet.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of flax oil.
Okay. But tell us why you're not a fan first.
I'm just bougie and I go to the best of the best. Like with my teachers, you know, I'm rocking with Dr. Jewel, I'm rocking with Dr. Kifa, KT the Arch Degree, Dr. Sabi, Minister Nikki, people like this, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to just an internet herb site or something. You know, I like to go to the premier thing. So when it comes to everything that flax can do, I like what I think you have over there too, the black seed oil.
Yeah.
Or for its omega properties, I'll go to the hemp seed. Right.
I still love cooking with hemp seeds.
Yeah, different things like that. You know, I just
tell us about black seed.
So, the oil form is cool. I actually get it in powder form because basically it's the seed just broken down. And it's a lot easier to assimilate, and you get the whole thing as opposed to just a portion, you know, oil form. But yeah, like it says on the internet, if you Google it, like the ancient, you know, papyrus and stuff, it'll be like, yeah, it could kill anything except for death. Hey, it's hitting like that, but a lot of people don't understand. Like that was back then, before all this craziness.
Before it was like processed. Or
man, yeah. So you know, you're gonna need to do that and complement it with foods and exercise and healthy lifestyles and stuff. But you know, with that being said, I think it's definitely a powerhouse food. You know, to something to have in the cabinet for sure, or the fridge.
Okay, ashwagandha.
Man, all of my clients who be stressing, that's definitely in a regimen. Alongside of blue vervain, which is an iron powerhouse that actually helps to calm and relax the nervous system. Right next to lemon balm, I'll put that on my regimens.
Magnesium
with that.
too.
Magnesium helps to. So mag is the old name for the sun, right? Magnesium means to push.
You do have a section on minerals and crystals in here. Yeah. So I did read that, but I just wanted you to touch on it on the mic. Yeah.
So the reason why it helps people relax is because it has that pushing effect. So like anything that's like clogged up in the veins and arteries or whatever, it can help it to flow. And that way it kind of allows the pressure to subside. And, you know, that way the peace comes about. But those other herbs basically like cause the vibration of peace or stimulate the nervous system to be more poised and relaxed.
What about alfalfa?
Alfalfa is super dope, nutrient powerhouse. That's probably, if I'm not mistaken, the main ingredient in that bottle of chlorophyll that you have. That's like the go-to chlorophyll source for a lot of companies. Yeah,
we have
World Organics. I like them too. I like them a lot. I got about 4 of them bottles on my dresser right now. Yeah, Dr. Kifa used to be mad because when I used to fast, I used to be gulping a bottle with him down with a gallon. She's like, that's too much.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Oh, man, you didn't get lightheaded?
You be walking around light.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, shining.
Milk thistle.
Milk thistle is,
Show this milk thistle.
Yeah, I definitely rock with milk thistle. Excellent for liver regeneration and cleansing. So, definitely for my clients that have liver issues, but I personally integrate it into my diet like towards either like the end of Pisces, so I could be ready in the springtime when that spring energy hits. Because remember, the seasons correspond with different parts of the body too. Because the body is a composite; it's the miniaturized universe.
Why I love living here.
Yeah. So you get all the different seasons. Boom. Yeah, that's intelligent.
People don't understand that that's energy within itself that you get to experience different seasons. Like I think we always talk about the water of Detroit being like a powerful energy orbit, but the experiencing in the Midwest all the seasons is super powerful to me.
Mhm.
Facts.
Oil of oregano.
What you said earlier, Debo. Yo, I completely understand, you know, if you don't like it, but it's a heavy hitter, you know, especially nowadays with all that stuff going around, all them variants, you know, even people want to be, you know, not believing, hey, do your thing. But those who understand what time it is, grab you some oregano oil, drop it under the tongue, drop it on the tongue if that's too much, put it inside of some water if that's too much, but have that in your diet because it's an excellent way to break down viral matter. You know, we can't really kill viruses. I see a lot of companies like, yeah, this is a viral killer. You can't really kill a virus like you can a parasite or let's say some foreign bacteria, but you could definitely like break his bones and snap his neck and have, you know, for lack of better words.
And he'll be like, I ain't going back over there.
Yeah.
For real.
And another thing is, if you do put it on your tongue and you taste how potent it is, just be grateful and imagine now what it's about to do to the rest of your body.
We about to get in there.
You know?
It's about to beat him. It's about to be Neo.
That's how I feel about
fighting against them
magnesium.
sentients.
People complain about like I haven't experienced castor oil yet, but apple cider vinegar, black seed oil, and oregano oil, and magnesium. Magnesium is number one for me.
Yeah.
And then it's probably it's gonna be apple cider vinegar. Then it's magnesium, and then it's black seed oil, and then it's oregano oil.
Okay, cool.
I can't do magnesium.
I'm gonna talk to you about apple cider vinegar off the air.
And what about vitamin E?
Yo, vitamin E is a nut. Oh, everything is amazing, but I know this is a powerhouse. Everything is dope, but vitamin E is like one of them that you need in the cabinet for sure, especially if you got inflammation issues. Not only is it excellent for nutrients and stuff and like elasticity and things of that nature, but yeah, when people have inflamed cells from all that nonsense in the body, that's an excellent way to calm that inflammation down. You know, I know turmeric is real popular, but vitamin E is something that'll really get to it a lot faster because turmeric take like 30 days before it actually can be seen. Or like you could feel the effects.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted this only because my friend makes it. Just wanted to shout out Lottie. Remember when she came on the show?
Yeah, I loved her.
Yeah, this is Lottie's elderberry syrup. You can't really tell,
I used it too,
but it's super tiny.
Did you use any of it?
I mean, I don't really need it. That's how sick I be. And like, when did Lottie come on here? 2018.
I used it last year. It was so good.
It's like 4 years later. Like, you know, I don't. Thank you, God. I don't really get sick like that.
Yeah.
And then what's this? You brought something. What's this?
That's called Thieves. So that's actually a combination of different things. Peppermint, oregano oil is in there, cinnamon, things of that nature.
Where'd you get that from?
NutraFoods and Royal Oak.
Okay.
Is that what I smelled when I came in?
Is it? Did it say like maybe? I think so, because I think I sprayed some like right before you came.
Yeah, and I walked in, I was like, oh, it's minty in here.
Yeah. That got his name supposedly from like these like in medieval times, some robbers or something like that, taking gold or something like that. And they would know people like that because of the stench, but they clothed themselves in that particular combination of, you know, different oils or whatever that were around, and thus the name. But I'm pretty sure that was like some, you know, hocus pocus stuff. I'm pretty sure ancient Kemet was already on tip. They just trying to make some folklore, trying to steal our glory. But yeah.
Then I wanted to show y'all some motherwort. Can you see this? This is a bag of motherwort. This like an
that's a pound, right?
Is this a whole pound?
Looks like it.
Yeah. And basically, motherwort.
I've only taken it in tea form, and because I had it in combination with so many things, I didn't really notice a specific effect. But I know people use it for like detoxing and healing and all types of things of that nature in general. But I'm not really sure of its specific uses in the body because I like to be practical, like take stuff in like isolated forms so I could see what's going on, the knowledge, right? But that I haven't done the knowledge to specifically individually, so I can really speak on that one. Yeah,
they say it's good for, you know, strengthening your cleansing systems.
Okay, cool. So cool.
Like a milk thistle.
Okay.
Yeah. What else I got over there? Like I won't say like black seed because black seed is on the spectrum considered potent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, motherwort is considered like something you could drink daily.
Okay.
I mean, you could do black seed daily.
I
Yeah,
do.
It's
a
not
lot
that
of
you
people
can.
do.
You
Yeah.
can do black seed daily. It's definitely got potency though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I had for today. We're gonna have to bring you back, right? Y'all have fun
Yes.
with
Oh,
Asa.
yeah.
That was a great
When you-
choice,
Great
Brittany.
show.
Well, when you are gearing back up for solar power, you have to come back on and talk about it.
Hey,
and hang
man.
out.
Definitely.
When did you say you're gearing up for that?
End of
Soon
Capricorn?
in the Capricorn season,
Yeah.
which we already in.
Oh, that's
so,
only a couple weeks.
yeah.
Brittany's trying to bring you back on every
Hey.
month.
Come on now.
Come on, let's do
Oh,
it.
you
I'm
wanna
with
you
it.
wanna come on here every month?
I'm down whenever y'all invite me.
Okay,
Here.
all right. We're gonna have you on here monthly.
Let's do it. I love y'all.
Hey.
The
We're gonna
energy
bring
in here.
Aisha on here too to do live colonics.
Yeah.
Let's
No, I'm just
go.
kidding, y'all. That's
Shout out to Aisha.
News.
Shout out to Aisha, man.
Yeah,
She
shouts out
a
to
powerhouse in the
Aisha.
community for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
So
hero, too.
now you told us a couple times, but now tell us definitively where we go to get this book, where we go to learn more about how to be healthier, and how we can get involved with the things that you're doing and support you.
Man, thank you. So the book can be purchased on Amazon.com, also on Barnes and Noble, Walmart. But I'm going to recommend you go to my personal website, www.asameansdoctor.com. That's ASAMEANSDOCTOR.com. Health consultations are available on there. I do really recommend that you learn how to be your own doctor. However, if you need some assistance, we have a plethora of health specialists in the city of Detroit and surrounding areas. But if you're out and about in some other states, you can hit us up over the internet. Piper, she be trying to be all humble and stuff. Y'all could, bug her about a lot of stuff too. She's a master in my head, if you ask me. But as far as my personal services, you can hit me up there. Hit me up on Instagram at same thing. Asa means doctor. ASAMEANSDOCTOR. On Facebook, I think it's Asa Lockett. Yeah, ASA, last name LOCKETT. If not, it's Asa means doctor on there. And then Asa means doctor on Twitter. If you want to, hear me ramble off. I just got on there, so I think I'm doing something.
Quit.
Check me out.
Hey, let's go.
That's wonderful. So did you want to leave us with some words of encouragement for folks?
Man, y'all better tap in and look inside of yourselves. It's one thing to look in the mirror. It's another thing to close your eyes and to really swim around in all of that primordial power. Really do that every day. One, because it's infinity inside of you. When we say finite, we say infinite, you got to keep in mind, it's in the word. Infinite is in the finite. You know what I'm saying? So once you we talked about skin earlier. Once you break past that barrier and go inside, it's a wrap. You have literally unlimited opportunities to go in and discover yourself and then to pull that out and share it with the rest of the world. We need that right now. There's so many of us with dormant powers that, really we only need a handful of people. So if it's a few of y'all listening that's really about that life, tap in, meditate more, tweak up whatever you need to in your diet, really get in your bag and share it with the world. Because you might hit that one person that's going to be able to create that major domino effect and change the game. Like I said earlier, we're going to be shining once again, and really top and surpass even what we might have did in ancient Kemet and prior eras. But the point from right here to there can be either extremely challenging or we can make it easy on ourselves. And the more work we do within, the easier that, route or transition will be. So I highly recommend the latter.
Thank you.
Great.
Yes.
What about you, Deja? Would you like to leave us with some words of encouragement?
Yeah, I kind of just want everyone to work on their breathing and I don't know, find time and space to meditate at least twice a day before you leave your home and before you get back in your bed. Just make time to breathe and let it go.
What about you, Brittany?
I'll just leave it with the book quote. I think in the book it says everything in the universe has an attribute, and I love that. So on you, Pipe.
Yeah, I mean, since you said the quote, I'll just say the book title and let's make the hood healthy again.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
That was
Make the
great.
hood healthy
So then I'll say
again.
also too, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Piper Carter Podcast, YouTube. Also, we're on the Detroit is Different podcast network. And just a reminder that right now, Detroit is Different podcast network has a GoFundMe and also has an NFT for $250. You can be an investor into our platform that is delivered straight to us by our proprietor, Kari Way Frazier, who has put a lot of love and effort into this space that he is leaving for the community. And so, yeah, please think about investing, or let others know that is worth investing into. There are many other shows here on the network, so shouts out to all of them. And we are very grateful for all of you, our listeners. And this has been just a really wonderful way to end the so-called year, if we're talking about Gregorian calendar year. And we are going to be entering into a new year, right? According to Gregorian calendar time. We can have we'll bring Asa back and we'll have a whole nother conversation about what time we're in. But
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you
but
to
just for
like
now.
do your astrology reports when we come back.
Yeah, maybe I'll bring the astrology reports back
Yeah.
next year. And so yeah, we're gonna be in a new year. We're ending this year. Just want to send lots of appreciation to everyone that has been patient with us. This year my mom transitioned and she's an ancestor now, and that was really heavy for me personally. And we took a break for all those months. And so just appreciate all of you for allowing us the space to take the break, and allowing me the space to have the break that I needed to be able to come back. But we've been working on structuring the show, and we want to make sure that when we come back, that we're coming back like full force with a lot of things for you. So yeah, just we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. We're Twitter, you could follow me, Piper Carter, or you follow Detroit is Different. If you're on Facebook, you or Instagram, you follow Piper Carter Podcast, and you can follow Detroit is Different. And yeah, so we just really appreciate you and want you all to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful new year. And we will see you next year. Peace.